My dear brothers and sisters, sit down with me for a moment, just for a moment, and let your spirit listen. Let your soul exhale. Let the wind of grace blow softly through your weary heart. Because today, we are not here by accident. No, we are here by divine appointment. July 19 is no ordinary day. For on this day, if you dare to believe, if you dare to speak it, if you dare to say this prayer, you shall receive something mighty, something urgent, something miraculous. From Saint Anthony, the gentle servant of the Most High. ChatGPT said, "Oh child, let me sit with you and talk plainly." July 19 is not just a date on your wall calendar. No ma'am, no sir. It is not just another Wednesday, nor is it a Thursday you simply survive through, counting the hours until Friday comes knocking. No, beloved, July 19 is divine. It is set apart, handpicked by heaven, kissed by the breath of the Holy Spirit, and marked by destiny long before your mama first rocked you in her arms. Long before you cried your first cry or knew the pain of life's bitter cup, this day, this July 19, was whispered in the corridors of eternity. You see, time for us moves linearly, like a string being unspooled. But for God, oh, God wraps time around his finger like silk. He folds it and bends it and speaks over it. And when he wants to move, when he wants to shift something in your life, he chooses a moment that don't make sense to the world, but speaks volumes to the soul. That moment is now. That moment is July 19. Too many folks go through life thinking miracles are only for Bible days, that those burning bushes and parted seas are tucked away in dusty pages of Scripture, never to rise again. But oh, how wrong they are, for miracles, child, don't belong to the past. They belong to the faithful. They belong to those who, even with a cracked voice and weary knees, still dare to whisper, "Lord, I believe." And sometimes, yes, sometimes, the miracle doesn't come through thunder or lightning, but through a simple prayer spoken on a sacred day. A prayer with your name written on it. That day, my darling, is July 19. There are days when heaven leans in close, when the veil between this world and the next is so thin you could almost reach through it and touch glory. And on those days, you must not be asleep. You must not be distracted by the noise of the world or the clutter of your worry. On those days, you must be alert in spirit, still in mind, and ready in soul, because the divine does not shout over chaos. The divine speaks through peace. And when he speaks, oh Lord, when he speaks, your whole life shifts. Now some folks might ask, what's so special about this one day? Why July 19? And to them I say, not every holy thing can be explained. Not every anointing can be reasoned with. Some days carry the fragrance of favor simply because God willed it so. It's like walking into a room where bread's been baking all day. You don't need someone to show you the oven to know something good is about to be served. You feel it in your bones. July 19 carries that kind of aroma. It's the day the heavens stretch wide, and Saint Anthony steps forward with oil in his hands and mercy in his eyes. Yes, Saint Anthony, the man of miracles, the man who lived not for praise or gold, but for the comfort of the broken. He was heaven's own finder of the lost. And child, you can't tell me you haven't lost something. Maybe you lost it years ago. Your your confidence, your trust in people, your rhythm, your peace. Maybe you're walking through life like a song half written. But let me tell you this. July 19 is the day God appointed to bring back what slipped through your fingers. And not because you're perfect. Not because you've earned it, but because grace don't keep score. Grace just gives. Now lean in a little closer, sugar. July 19 is your invitation to rise again, to believe again, to ask boldly, to speak the kind of prayer that shakes the walls of your despair and invites light back into the darkest corners of your life. This day, this glorious set-apart day, is for the urgent things. For the secret things you're too scared to even utter out loud. This is not the day for shallow petitions. No, This is the day you walk barefoot onto holy ground and cry out from the belly of your soul, Lord, I need you. Saint Anthony, hear my cry. Bring me my miracle, not tomorrow but now. And oh, how he listens. You think heaven is far. You think the saints are deaf to our pain. Child, heaven leans in closer than your next breath, and Saint Anthony, that gentle intercessor, that anointed shepherd of the forgotten, he knows the weight of urgent need. He knows what it is to be hungry for a sign. And when you speak to him on the day God chose, he doesn't delay. He doesn't second guess. He moves because faith moves him. So when July 19 comes, don't treat it like any other day. Don't rush through it with your face in your phone and your mind on tomorrow. No, on this day, wake up with reverence. Light a candle. Wash your face. Anoint your door. Lay your burdens bare. Speak that prayer. Speak it slow. Speak it like your life depends on it, because maybe it does. And when you speak it, don't you dare speak it in fear. Speak it in faith. Speak it in the rhythm of victory, the cadence of power. Let your words echo with the certainty that you are heard, because you are. Oh, beloved, you are not forgotten. Your cry is not lost in the wind. The heavens are not too busy. God sees you. Saint Anthony hears you. And on this sacred day, this set-apart day, they are coming to meet you where your pain lives. So honor this day. Sanctify it with your prayer, your hope, your holy desperation. July 19 is a door, a divine window, a sacred whisper. And when you walk through it with faith, don't be surprised if miracles come rushing through the cracks like morning sunlight. Because this is not just a date. It's a divine appointment. And you, child of God, are right on time. Saint Anthony, oh, that name. It rings like an old church bell in the hollows of the soul. It doesn't just echo. It sings. It weeps. It remembers. That name, my dear, has danced on the tongues of the faithful for generations. Whispered from trembling lips in hospital rooms. Spoken with tears into the cracks of broken marriages. Murmured by mothers who've lost their children and the poor who've lost their way. That name is not dust and myth. No, child, it is living. It is breathing. It is holy. You see. Saint Anthony was no man of pomp and parade. He did not walk about in velvet robes, drunk on the sound of his own name. No, baby. He walked in sandals dusty with the road of compassion. He was not a seeker of fame, but a finder of the lost. Not a man concerned with gold, but a man rich in soul. He gave what this world could not, offering hope, direction, comfort, and restoration. Some folks call him the finder of lost things. And they stop there, but they don't know the whole of it. You see, he didn't just find keys and coins and trinkets. No. He found dignity for the forgotten. He found peace for the restless. He found answers for the desperate. He found God's hand moving in places where people had long given up. Oh, he knew about loss. Not the kind that passes like a summer breeze, but the kind that stays. The kind that makes a home in your chest, turns your laughter into echoes, your memories into anchors. But Saint Anthony, he was a bridge back to light, to laughter, to life. And even now, he walks with those who've misplaced something vital. He walks with you. Yes, I'm talking to you, child. You who feel like something precious has slipped through your grasp. Maybe it was years ago. Maybe it was just yesterday. But it's gone. You search for it in conversations, in people, in dreams. But you haven't felt whole in a long time. You wear your smile like a borrowed coat, stitched together with prayers and silence. But let me tell you something, only the soul can truly understand what was lost can be found. And Saint Anthony knows just where to look. He doesn't need a map or a flashlight, sugar. He finds by faith. He moves by mercy. He searches not just under beds or behind closed doors. He searches the folds of your soul, the locked chambers of your heart, the forgotten places you buried beneath shame or sorrow. He goes there gently. He knocks on the doors you thought were sealed shut forever. And here's the miracle in it all. He doesn't come with judgment. He doesn't ask how it got lost or why you let it go. He doesn't wag his finger or demand an explanation. No, baby. He simply says, let me help you find it. Let me help you find your strength, your purpose, your song, your peace, your faith, your joy. Some people believe you must climb mountains and crawl on your knees to receive God's favor. But St. Anthony shows us another way, a quiet way, a humble way. He shows us that the act of asking is itself holy, that when you open your mouth, trembling and unsure, and say, St. Anthony, I have lost something I cannot live without. The gates of heaven open just a little wider. Now listen to me carefully, because this part is important. Restoration is not always flashy. It doesn't always come with trumpets or thunder. Sometimes it comes softly, like the return of laughter you thought you'd never hear again, like sleep that finally finds your eyes after nights of torment, like the sudden realization that what was broken in you is starting to breathe again. And don't you let the world tell you miracles are only for the mighty. Don't you believe for 1 minute that heaven forgot your name. If God could use St. Anthony to find the lost sandals of the poor, the missing ring of a servant girl, the faith of a man crumbling under doubt, then surely, he can send him to find what you lost too. You may not even know what it is. You just feel empty, hollow, like something left but never came back. That's all right. Sometimes we don't need words. Sometimes the Spirit groans and heaven interprets it. And St. Anthony, oh bless his soul, he understands groans. He understands the language of grief, of confusion, of hope dim but not extinguished. So when you call on him, when you whisper his name like an old hymn passed down from the mouths of grandmothers and great-grandmothers, believe, not in superstition but in divine compassion, not in ritual but in relationship, because he is not a relic of history, he is a servant of heaven, and he has been assigned. Yes, assigned. To walk with you on July 19, to help you pick up the pieces of your spirit and carry them back to the throne of grace. And when he brings you your miracle, when it finds you in the mailbox, in a phone call, in a check you weren't expecting, in a diagnosis that suddenly reverses, in a child who comes home, in a heart that finally feels again. Remember this, it wasn't chance. It wasn't coincidence. It was restoration by divine design. And St. Anthony, in all his gentleness and goodness, was God's vessel. He is not the source. He is the signpost. He is not the miracle maker. He is the messenger. But oh, what a glorious messenger he is. Sent to remind you that what the world calls lost, God still claims as his own. So don't you stop hoping. Don't you stop praying. Don't you stop believing in the impossible. Because with God, and through St. Anthony, the impossible simply means not yet. And when July 19 arrives, open your hands, open your heart. Speak that prayer not with fear, but with the authority of someone who knows their miracle is on the way. Because you are not forgotten, you are not forsaken. And St. Anthony, the humble finder of all things sacred and lost, is already on his way. Let me tell you something, baby. There is power in a whispered prayer. There is thunder in a trembling voice that dares to speak from the depths of its sorrow. There is fire in the breath of a soul that still believes. Believes when the world has grown silent. Believes when the night is long and lonely. Believes when faith is not fashionable but necessary. And that kind of prayer, oh, that kind of prayer, it cannot be casual. It cannot be lukewarm. It must rise from the earth like incense, wrapped in sincerity, soaked in desperation, and lifted by faith. Prayer, my dear, is not simply words strung together. It is not a script to be memorized or recited without feeling. It is not a magic spell. No, child, prayer is the heartbeat of hope. It is the cry of the weary, the hymn of the broken, the roar of the brave. And when you say this powerful prayer to St. Anthony on July 19, you cannot come with your shoes on. You cannot come guarded or half present. You must come barefoot in spirit, humble, trembling, honest, because Saint Anthony does not answer the proud. He does not move for those who perform with their mouths but remain silent in their hearts. He listens for the H behind the words. He looks for the truth behind the tear. He waits for the kind of cry that shakes heaven awake. And let me say this to you in no uncertain terms when you pray on July 19. Don't pray from your head. Pray from your belly. Pray from the dark room inside your chest where your hope lives. The place where you hold your disappointments like photos in a worn-out album. Speak from there. Speak from your longing. Speak from the center of your silence. Speak like your soul is leaning out of a window calling for rescue. Because Saint Anthony, oh, that holy man, he hears you when others don't. He sees what no one else can see. And when your prayer comes with urgency, when it rides on the wings of desperation, when it carries the scent of sincerity, he responds. Now don't you be afraid of weeping. Don't you hide your tears behind pride. Tears are holy. They are proof that the soul is still reaching, still yearning, still alive. You think heaven is offended by your pain. No, baby. Heaven honors it. Heaven holds it in bottles, remembers each drop. And when you come to Saint Anthony in that state, with your face wet and your heart open, he draws near. He bends low. He cups your words in his hands and carries them to the throne of God like a precious offering. So don't rush this prayer. Don't speed past it like you're running late for something more important. Nothing is more important. When you pray, really pray, time stands still. The angels hush. The noise of the world fades. And all that remains is you, your truth, and the ears of a saint who has been assigned to help you find what you've lost. And let me tell you, you have lost something. Maybe not your house or your job, maybe not your child or your marriage, but something in you has dimmed. Something no one else can name, but you know it's gone. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's the belief that you can still be chosen, still be healed, still be restored. Maybe it's the joy you used to feel when the sun touched your skin. Whatever it is, beloved, speak about it, say it, call it out by name. There is power in naming the thing that has broken you. There is power in confessing, even if your voice shakes. Because when you do, when you say it aloud, not to complain but to release, Saint Anthony hears the truth of your spirit. And that's the language he understands best. He don't need perfect grammar or poetic phrases. He needs honesty. He needs heart. He needs hunger. And I must tell you something else. When you speak this prayer, don't beg like you're unworthy. No. Stand in the worth that was gifted to you by God himself. You are not less than. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are a child of the Most High, and your prayer carries weight. It carries authority. So when you speak, speak like someone who knows they are heard. Speak like someone who knows the miracle is not a maybe, but a matter of time. Lift your voice, or lower it, whisper it if you must. But whatever you do, don't stay silent. Silence is not surrender, but silence that comes from fear. That is bondage. Break it. Break it with your words. Break it with your faith. Speak this prayer over your family. Speak it over your finances. Speak it over your body, your health, your mind. Speak it in your car, at your bedside, on your porch, in your bathroom mirror. Speak it until the walls remember the sound. Speak it until heaven responds. Speak it until you feel the wind shift. Because, baby, the wind will shift. Saint Anthony is not far. He is near. And when he hears a prayer that is soaked in realness, dripping in faith, he gets to moving. He gets to working. He gets to opening doors you didn't even knock on. He gets to guiding blessings you didn't even think to ask for. That is the power of heartfelt prayer. It doesn't just ask, it transforms. It changes you from the inside out. It clears the clutter from your soul and makes room for light. And when that light comes, oh, you will know it. You will feel it like morning sun on your back. You will feel it in your bones. You will smile, and not because everything is perfect, but because something inside you finally feels found again. So go ahead. Let your soul speak. Let your faith rise. Let your voice ring out like a song that's been buried too long. Say the prayer. Say it with trembling hands if you must. Say it with cracked lips and a dry throat. Say it with the last ounce of strength you have left, because that's the kind of prayer Saint Anthony answers. The kind that costs something. The kind that is born in fire. The kind that declares, I may be broken, but I still believe. Say it, child, and watch the miracle find you. Oh, child, you may not feel it yet. You may still be waking up with questions swirling like storm clouds in your chest. You may still walk the floor at night, listening for the sound of a miracle coming. But don't you dare let your heart be fooled by silence. Don't you let your faith be dictated by what you see with your eyes. Because I have lived long enough, walked through enough valleys, and danced on enough mountaintops to tell you this: the miracle begins the moment you pray. Not when it arrives, not when it manifests, but when it is spoken into the atmosphere with trembling trust and bold belief. Yes, Lord. So many people miss their miracle because they're watching the sky, expecting lightning to flash, expecting angels to descend like a chair. But beloved, miracles don't always come in thunder and noise. Sometimes they arrive like a soft rain on thirsty soil. Quiet, gentle, but absolutely powerful. They are set in motion by the prayer you dared to whisper when you felt like giving up. That prayer didn't bounce off the walls. It didn't dissolve in the air. It traveled straight to heaven, and heaven moved. You see, heaven moves not because you shouted louder than your neighbor, but because you believed. Even a mustard seed of belief, tiny, trembling, but true, is enough to stir the divine. God is not deaf to your pain, and he is not slow to act, even when time feels like a cruel joke. No, darling, God is precise. He is perfect in timing, even when he is silent in the moment. Now, Saint Anthony, that holy finder of lost things, he knows what it means to wait on God. He didn't become a worker of miracles overnight. He walked a path of prayer, of service, of trust in the unseen. And when you pray to him, when you say that sacred prayer on July 19, you join a lineage of souls who refuse to give up, even when everything around them said, "It's over." But it's not over. Do you hear me? It's not over. When you open your mouth and speak those holy words, something stirs in the spirit realm. Something begins to shift. Doors you thought were locked forever begin to creak open. Chains that bound you start to rattle. Winds begin to blow from corners you forgot existed. And you may not feel anything at first. But that doesn't mean the miracle isn't already traveling in your direction. See, we live in a world that teaches us to trust only what we can touch. If it's not in our hands, it doesn't exist. If it doesn't show up by morning, we think it's denied. But baby, faith is not about what's seen. Faith is about knowing deep in your bones that heaven heard you the first time, and that the answer is on the way. Maybe it's walking right now, on holy feet, across holy ground, straight to your doorstep. Maybe it's coming in the form of favor at your job, healing in your body, peace in your home, joy returning like an old friend. It may not come how you expect it, but it will come. God never wastes a prayer soaked in tears. Never. And let me tell you something. Just because you prayed and things didn't change immediately, doesn't mean they didn't start changing. Some miracles need time to unfold. Some blessings need space to mature. Some answers need your spirit to be ready to receive them. That delay you feel, that's not rejection. It's preparation. Heaven is aligning the pieces. Heaven is tuning the orchestra. Heaven is moving people, shifting resources, orchestrating divine appointments you can't even imagine. Oh, I know the waiting is hard. Lord knows I do. I know what it feels like to sit with hands open and heart heavy, wondering when your turn will come. But let me encourage you, sugared, your miracle is not being denied. It's being designed, custom-made, tailored for you. And St. Anthony, he's not forgotten. He's still working, still whispering your name to the heavens, still making sure what you've lost comes back better, stronger, and fuller. And here's the truth the world won't tell you. The moment you prayed, you already began to change. Your spirit stood a little taller. Your shoulders dropped some of the weight. Your breath moved easier. Because prayer does not just shift the situation. It shifts you. It reminds you of who you are. It wakes up the part of you that dares to hope again. It draws heaven into your present. And what a powerful presence it is. So while you wait, don't grow bitter. Grow expectant. Water your words with worship. Feed your faith with gratitude. Talk to your miracle like it's already arrived. Make space for it in your day. Set a place at your table, because God doesn't tease his children. He fulfills. Let your posture speak before the blessing arrives. Walk like the healing is already done. Laugh like the debt is already canceled. Sing like the marriage is already restored. Declare with boldness, my miracle is moving, right now. Even though I can't see it, I believe it. Even though I can't touch it, I trust it. Even though I'm tired, I know it's near. And when that moment comes, and baby it will, when the miracle steps into the room and wraps itself around your need, you'll look back on this time not with regret, but with awe. You'll see how faith carried you. You'll see how prayer planted the seed. And you'll know, deep in your spirit, that the miracle was never late. It was always on time, just like your God, just like your St. Anthony. So speak the prayer. Speak it like your life depends on it, because maybe, just maybe, it does. And after you pray, wait with joy. Wait with strength. Wait like a woman who knows her womb is full of purpose. Wait like a man who knows his harvest is almost here. Wait like a soul who's heard heaven say, it is done, because it is, beloved. It is. When the miracle comes, and it will come, don't let silence follow it. Don't let gratitude die in your throat like a song never sung. Don't let your mouth forget how to say, thank you. For gratitude, my dear, is more than good manners. It's a sacred key. It is the breath that fans the flame of blessing and tells heaven, I saw what you did. I noticed. I remember. You see, in this life, we are all beggars of one kind or another. We come with empty hands and tired feet, with hearts broken open by time and circumstance. We kneel, we plead, we call on God, and we cry out to saints like St. Anthony, not because we're weak, but because we know where our strength comes from. We know we cannot find all we've lost on our own. We know that there are some burdens too heavy to carry alone, some battles too fierce to fight in silence. And when the answer comes, when the healing shows up, when the job offer arrives, when the phone rings and it's the breakthrough you've been waiting for, you mustn't forget to turn back and say, thank you. A gratitude, child, is not just for Sunday mornings or grace at dinner. No, no. Gratitude is a way of living. It is how you show God you are not just a receiver of blessings, but a steward of them. It is how you tell St. Anthony, I saw the hand you extended, the mercy you carried, the miracle you helped deliver. Because saints may not need thanks, but the act of thanking them elevates your spirit. It humbles your soul. It reminds you that no good thing is owed, but everything good is given. Too many people pray with urgency and forget with ease. They cry out in midnight desperation, but when the sun rises with healing in its wings, they go back to their busy lives as if they were never on their knees. But not you. You are different. You understand that miracles are sacred, and the proper response to sacred things is reverence. Reverence wrapped in gratitude. Thank God. Thank Him from the depths of your belly, from the hollow where your worry used to live. Thank Him in the morning. Thank Him when you're brushing your teeth. Thank him as you walk through the grocery store or rock your baby to sleep. Thank him not just with your words, but with your life. Let your gratitude show up in how you treat people, how you forgive, how you love, how you live. And don't forget St. Anthony. Don't you dare. When you prayed that prayer on July 19 with shaking hands and a heavy spirit, he was listening. He was moving. He was walking beside your plea, carrying it like a sacred bundle to the feet of the Almighty. He interceded. He spoke your name before the throne, and the heavens responded. So thank him. Light a candle. Whisper his name with warmth. Tell someone about what he did for you so they might find the courage to believe for their own miracle. And then, sweetheart, thank yourself. Yes, you heard me right. Thank the beautiful, wary, brave soul inside of you that dared to believe again. Because faith, real faith, takes courage. It is no easy thing to hope when you've been disappointed. It is no small thing to trust when your heart has been broken. But you did. You pushed past fear. You spoke the prayer. You opened your hands to receive. And the miracle came. So celebrate that part of yourself that refused to give up. The part that lit a candle when the room was still dark. The part that knelt when pride told you to stand tall. The part that kept speaking life even when death whispered at your door. That is a holy part of you, and it deserves your thanks. A gratitude is a circle. It begins with need, rises through prayer, and returns as praise. And when you close that circle, when you give thanks with your whole heart, you prepare yourself for the next blessing. You send a message to heaven, I'm ready. I'm faithful. I'm grateful. And heaven, oh heaven, responds to that kind of heart. I've seen it happen time and time again. People who thank God with the same intensity they begged him. People who live in remembrance of what they received. These are the people who walk in a river of favor, who carry peace like perfume, who draw miracles like magnets. Not because they are more worthy, but because they are more grateful. And let me tell you something more, child. Gratitude is healing in itself. It softens the edges of sorrow. It gives meaning to the suffering. It reminds you that even the dark places were part of your testimony, that every tear you cried watered the soil of your miracle. And now that the flower has bloomed, you must sit with it in awe and say, thank you for letting me see this day. Let your life become a thank you note to the divine. Let your laughter be praise. Let your kindness be a hymn. Let your joy be a testimony. And every time you remember what God did for you through the hands of St. Anthony, let gratitude rise up in you like a wellspring that never runs dry. Oh, what a thing it is to be grateful. Gratitude expands the heart. It stretches your spirit. It lifts your eyes to the heavens and whispers, you did not forget me. You did not forsake me. You saw me. You healed me. You helped me find what I thought I'd lost forever. And so I thank you, Lord. I thank you, St. Anthony,